The September meeting of the Wayne Westland Board of Education will now come to order. Your attendance tonight shows your willingness to participate in our district endeavors, and we want to thank you in advance for your concerns as they are welcomed and appreciated. Agenda item 138.16 is the Pledge of Allegiance. We have with us tonight Jaden Beecham and Colin Carnell. If you gentlemen would approach and lead us in the pledge. Shall we stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stay right there, Colin.
All right, sir. We have a board member that is coming down, and as she is approaching, Mrs. Medell will share with us your bio.
Hi, my name is Colin Carnell, and I'm 10 years old. I go to Marshall Upper Elementary School, and I am in Mrs. Brown's 5th grade class. I like to read, run, play video games, camp, ride my bike, and play with friends. When I grow up, I want to be either a teacher or a doctor.
Congratulations, Colin. And this is for recognition for Colin Carnell for participating in the flag ceremony during a regular meeting of the Board of Education, Wayne Westland Community Schools. Thank you for your participation. Oh, proceed this way. Oh, this way. And then you can flip this way so they can see your fabulous award.
Colin, did you bring anyone with you tonight?
Yes, my mom, my dad, my papa, and our principal, Mr. Kelly.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Item 139.16, roll call attendance, Mrs. Medell.
Mr. Griffin.
Present.
Mrs. Walker.
Present.
Dr. Weaver.
Present.
Mrs. Hines.
Present.
Mrs. Madison.
Present.
I am here, and Mr. Buckaloo is excused.
Thank you, Mrs. Medell. Agenda item 140.16, recognitions and presentations, Dr. Harmala.
Thank you, Vice President Weaver. I'd like to invite to the podium Principal Kevin Weber from Wayne Memorial High School. He's going to do our first recognition.
The JROTC program is a point of pride for Wayne Memorial, Wayne Westland Community Schools, and the community. The program provides guidance and opportunities to hundreds of students each year. Under this guidance, students become cadets. These cadets routinely excel in state and national competitions. Last year, the Wayne Memorial JROTC cadets won the Michigan State competition and placed in the top 20 nationally in all 3 competitive fields. Neither of these impressive accomplishments were first for the Zebra Battalion. This degree of excellence is a tradition for the cadets of Wayne Memorial, as it has been done year after year. Yet these accomplishments are far from routine. While our students are always at the center of what we do, a program that has sustained such a high level of success is indicative of great leadership. Tonight, it is my honor to recognize First Sergeant Stephen Lahane, who has built a truly special program at Wayne Memorial High School. First Sergeant's vision, attention to detail, and hard work has helped hundreds of cadets be all that they can be. This year, First Sergeant was recognized by the U.S. Army as the JROTC Instructor of the Year. Additionally, the Army also recognized First Sergeant's dedication and success with the Gold Award. These 2 awards are both well-deserved. Members of the Board of Education and Dr. Harmala, thank you for allowing me to honor First Sergeant tonight. First Sergeant Lahane, you have routinely brought pride, honor, and dignity and recognition to Wayne Memorial High School. I would like to thank you for your extensive work and your unparalleled success. Thank you for sharing your talents with our community. Now I'd like to welcome Commissioner Hiatus, who would also like to acknowledge First Sergeant.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Vice President, the board member, Superintendent Harmala, and ladies and gentlemen. I always felt we should recognize those who make extra effort to make difference in our community. And I have the honor of working with Sergeant Lehane for many years and attend many of the ceremony and the event. And I feel every time I go to Wayne Memorial, I feel a sense of a pride when I see those young men and women in uniform. And in some way, I feel he prepared them for the greatest honor any citizen could earn by be prepared to be a soldier who defend our way of life, our freedom and democracy. So his effort, it's been recognized, as the principal mentioned, by the federal government and by the armed forces. And with a great honor, I like to present him with resolution on behalf of Wayne County and the 7 cities I represent: Westland, Wayne, Belleville, Van Buren, and Sumter, and Huron Township. With resolution, I'm going to save you the time, not read it, but in short, it recognizes his effort and his success in preparing those young men and women. And you could look to your far end corner and you see that beauty over there, and give all of us sense of pride. And I like to thank you all. Sergeant Lehane, would you join me? On behalf of Wayne County, I'd like to present you with this solution, token of our appreciation to your effort and success.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for allowing me to present this resolution to Sergeant Lehane.
Thank you, Mr. Haydes.
And Sergeant Lehane, if you would come down to the center as well.
Thank you. That was a hard act to follow. These gentlemen have said some very complimentary things about you and in the community. I have been able to witness firsthand your skills and abilities, and you have made all of us sitting here very proud of your program and your accomplishments with those cadets. We're also very proud of you as a person of integrity, leadership, and honor that you have brought to our school district and to our program. Thank you so much on behalf of the superintendent, our board president, and us as trustees for what you do for the students of Wayne Memorial. Please keep up the good work.
Well, I will.
And accept this recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, First
Thank you.
Sergeant.
Oh. Okay, I would like to ask Kelly Bowl to address our next recognition.
Thank you. Before I speak, I'm going to ask Ms. Sharon Sabat, representing the Tri-Parish Committee, and Co-President Ms. Heather Hatfield-Clear, representing the Westland Goodfellows, to please come to the center and be recognized. Thank you. On August 11th, I had the opportunity to witness the Family Resource Center receive a large donation of school supplies donated by both the Westland Goodfellows and the Tri-Parish Committee, which is comprised of St. Theodore, Divine Savior, and St. Damien Catholic churches. Many students and families have benefited from the generosity of the Westland Goodfellows over the years. The unique thing about this particular donation was the combined efforts of the Westland Goodfellows and the Tri-Parish Committee. This partnership allowed the items donated to be distributed to any Wayne Westland Community Schools student, not just students residing in the city of Westland. Because our district serves students from so many different communities, I really appreciate and want to say thank you to both organizations for your generosity and your combined efforts, which benefited so many students. To date, 185 students have received backpacks and school supplies from the Family Resource Center, and these donations are only made possible by the generosity of organizations like yours. I would also be remiss if I didn't share that we also received large donations this year from Jack Demer Ford, as well as the Webasto Corporation, and those are in the consent agenda item. So I want to say thank you to both of you.
On behalf of the Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Mala, and your assistance and aid for the students in our school district and our community, having been active in the Goodfellows in the past myself and known many of the past presidents, and also the Tri-Parish Committee, it's just an honor to have you help the students in this community, because without it, many of those would not have the resources to do what they do in the classroom. So on behalf of the board, we give you these recognitions, and we hope you hang them in the prominent place, and we appreciate your efforts on the behalf of our community and students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we have a presentation tonight from our Director and Principal of Stottlemyre Preschool Programs, and I don't think our board has had the opportunity to meet Nancy Ely. She'll go up to the podium. Nancy was unfortunately, but fortunately for her, at her daughter's wedding when we hired her, so was unable to be here present at the board meeting. So she is here, and she's going to do a brief presentation of all of our preschool programs. Nancy, go ahead.
Good evening, members of the board, and Dr. Harmala, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to meet you, finally. Tonight I will talk a little bit about Stottlemyre Early Childhood Center and Family Development Center. This is my 10th week there. It's an outstanding preschool program known throughout the county. We serve an average of 800 children and families each year. And I'm fortunate to work with approximately 100 staff members who are highly committed and just loving to our children. They're very helpful to our families. It's just a very wonderful place. So we serve a lot of different programs at Stottlemyre. We have first our Early Childhood Services, and that is a program for children under the age of 3 who have a diagnosed disability or delay. They see a professional staff member 2 times a week, one definitely in the home, and then the other could be in the home or also at the school or at a community location. We currently have 118 of these children under the age of 3. We have 8.5 staff, case managers, and we are currently we need to hire 2 more ECS teachers. The next program is our early childhood program, And this is a preschool program for children who are aged 3 to 6 who have a diagnosed disability or developmental delay. The class meets for 3 hours per day and includes therapies determined by their individual education plans. Each class has up to 12 students, a teacher, and a paraprofessional. We currently have 13 sections of our early childhood special education program and are serving 120 students. We also have a very large Head Start program at Stottlemyre. This is a free program based on federal government, and it's for 3 and 4-year-old children whose families meet specific income guidelines set by the government. Classes are half a day, and they run Monday through Thursday and include breakfast or lunch and a snack. We currently have 279 students enrolled. We have many more enrollment appointments going on yet this week. Our grant is up to 305 students. The threes portion of the Head Start program is full, but we have room for 26 more 4-year-olds. The next is our Kids Plus program, also known as the Great Start Readiness Program. This is a full-day free program. It's state-funded for 4-year-old children. Classes are Monday through Thursday. The school year runs for 32 weeks. We currently have 90 students enrolled in that program. We have 6 full-day sections. We have room for 6 more students to enroll, and those enrollment meetings are scheduled. And we also have 20 on a wait list for that program. We have another program, it's a tuition program called Sparky, Students and Parents Assisting with Resources for Kids in Their Early Years. The Sparky program, as I said, is a tuition-based program for 3 or 4-year-old children. The 3-year-olds attend on Tuesdays and Thursdays mornings or afternoons, and the 4s attend on Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings or afternoons. Our 3-year-old program, we have 4 spaces available. Our 4-year-old morning and our 4-year-old afternoon are full with 10 on a waiting list. We also offer before and after care programs at Stottlemyre. It's called Champions. And it's a before and after care program that works around the children's other preschool program. They must be enrolled in a preschool program at Stottlemyre to attend the Champions program. It runs from 7 in the morning until 6:30 in the evening. They were just leaving as I was coming here. We have 45 students enrolled in that program, and we have a lot of space available for that. So that's just a brief synopsis of what we offer at Stottlemyre. If anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to email me or visit our webpage or call our school. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Ely.
Are there any questions?
Anyone? Seeing none, thank you,
Thank you.
Mrs. Ely, for your presentation. Agenda item 141.16, citizens' comments on agenda items only. Mrs. Madell.
I don't have any requests. I'm not seeing any hands.
Thank you. I would ask the board as we move into the agenda that, since I'm filling in for Tom tonight, that you would allow me to ask the question before being answered on these agenda items, and that would help me. Thank you very much. Item 142.16, consent agenda. Do we have a motion to accept? Moved by Shauna Walker, supported by Trav Griffin. Are there any comments? Seeing none, Mrs. Madell, will you call the roll?
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Hines?
Yes.
I vote yes, and Mr. Buckaloo is excused.
Thank you. Agenda item 143.16, review and approval, human resource items. We're talking tonight about the principal of Hamilton Elementary School, Kristen Brickley. Mrs. Bowl, please.
Thank you. Tonight I have the pleasure of recommending for your review and approval Ms. Kristen Berkey for the principal position at Hamilton Elementary School. Kristen has been employed with the Wayne Westland Community Schools since 2004. During her tenure with the district, Kristen has served as an elementary teacher, a reading recovery teacher, and most recently as an intervention specialist. Kristen has a bachelor's degree from Eastern Michigan University and a master's degree in educational leadership from Concordia University.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion to accept?
I move that we.
I support.
Mrs. Madell, supported by Mrs. Madison. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Madison?
Yes.
Mrs. Hines?
Yes.
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
I vote yes, and Mr. Buckaloo is excused.
Very well. Congratulations, Ms. Brickley. Would you move to the center podium, please? Amen. Introduce yourself to us, if you will.
Yes, I'm Kristen Bricky. I just want to thank the board at this time for this amazing opportunity. I'm so proud to be a part of Wayne Westland Schools, and I'm so excited for this next experience for me. Thank you.
And I apologize for getting your name wrong, Ms.
Everybody
Bricky.
does it.
Okay.
Do you have anyone here you'd like to introduce?
I sure do. I have my husband, John, who's a fellow educator, right over there.
Agenda item 144.16, review and approval, business services and finance items. Mr. Larson Scheidler.
Okay, thank you, Vice President Weaver. Before you tonight is a purchase of up to 700 tons of road salt from the Detroit Salt Company. The bid was through the My Deal Purchasing Cooperative, and Detroit Salt Company was the lowest bidder.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion to accept? Mr. Griffin,
I'll support.
support by Mrs. Madison. Anyone have any questions?
I do. I recall last year we had purchased quite a bit, but then we didn't get the snowfall expected. Do we still have that in reserve?
We normally use between 450 and we've used up to 800 tons. So the minimum that we have to get with this is 420 tons. So, our average being 450 actually minimum, we can go up to that, and then we don't have to purchase bulk. So
Okay.
this is a good deal for us.
Thank you. Anyone else? Roll call vote, Mrs. Madell.
Mrs. Hines?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Madison?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker? Yes. Dr. Weaver?
Yes,
I vote yes, and Mr. Buckaloo is excused.
very well. Agenda item 145.16, review and approval agreements to dissolve shared time agreements. And I am going to ask for a motion to accept.
So moved.
Thank you,
I'll
Mr.
support.
Griffin. Support by Mrs. Madison. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Through the chair to Dr. Amala, I think the public needs a little explanation as to why we're making this motion to dissolve, and so I'd like to have you make the explanation.
Thank you. In the board's packet, they have a letter on page 32, but for the public's sake, private schools can ask public schools to provide some of their services to students, for example, an art teacher, a music teacher, or positions that are considered elective credit. We have had difficulty filling the positions for the two high schools. They actually share some of the staff we have hired in the past. We had 2 staff resign just before the start of our school year, but the school year for the parochial schools starts prior to Labor Day. We had difficulty filling those positions and did not have any potential candidates on the horizon. They would be left with substitute teachers and probably rotating substitute teachers. So to allow them to hire teachers, a nearby school district had teachers they could use for those shared time positions. We dissolved the agreement, recommend that to you so they can move on and provide the service to their students.
Thank you. I just wanted to have an explanation.
Yes, absolutely. Any other questions?
Just one quick question. Now, in the future, maybe next year, could they bring this back to the table, or just is done?
They could bring it back if it was a mutual agreement, but there's no requirement for them to do that.
All right, all questions resolved? All right. Let's see. Agenda item 14.
We need to vote.
Oh, we didn't vote. Well, that's something we need to do then. Let's vote. Mrs.
Not a problem.
Madell.
Dr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mrs. Hines,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker? Yes. Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Madison?
Yes.
I vote yes, and Mr. Buckaloo is excused.
Thank you. 6-0 vote. Agenda item 146.16, review and approval resolution to designate and appoint persons responsible for implementing public notice requirements of the Open Meeting Act. Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Madison,
Support.
support by Mrs. Hines. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call vote. Mrs. Madell.
I was going to say, I'm sorry, do we want to have Dr. Harmala explain this for the public and for the
Yes.
people in the seats?
I would think.
She's certainly welcome to if that's her desire.
Sure, I can do that. The Open Meetings Act actually requires a school district to name the person, not the role, that would be posting the notices for the open meeting. And with the retirement of Jan Teague, we now have Cheryl in place, so we need to recommend that Cheryl be named as the person and Sue Rawson be named as her alternate for doing the official postings for all meetings.
Very well. Any other questions? All right, roll call vote. Mrs. Madell.
Mrs. Walker? Yes. Mrs. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Hines?
Yes.
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
I vote yes, and Mr. Buckaloo is excused.
Thank you very much. 6-0 vote. Agenda item 147.16, review and approval of the 2015-2016 superintendent's goals. I have those goals for you, and I will share them unless you would like to.
Go ahead. That'd be
Okay.
fine.
The board, the goals that our superintendent has this year are two goals for recommendation to the board. Number one, develop a strategic plan that addresses short and long-term needs. That includes a common understanding of acceptance of the district's mission and vision by stakeholders, an instructional plan that ensures student achievement in academics as well as the other areas of value to the community, parents and students, an investigation with feedback of alternative schools, CTE, STEM, magnet, and charter schools that would enhance student enrollment, provide educational enhancement, and increase revenue, a building and site use plan, demolition, land sale, and redevelopment that supports the instructional plan and aligns with short and long-term goals with strategic plan. A study of the feasibility of the need of issuing a bond, as well as the identification of all costs associated with components of the strategic plan. Item F, a talent development plan that will ensure attraction and retention of high-quality employees. And goal number 2, using the foundation of trust with board members, be transparent about the teamwork with staff and community members. These fellow board members are Dr. Harmala's goals for the year, and I believe we need to accept those formally. Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Moved, I heard, saw Trav Griffin's hand.
I'll second.
All right, was that,
Second.
was that you? Please. Motion by Mrs. Hines, second by Trav Griffin. Do we have any questions?
I don't have a question, I have some discussion.
Yes, sir.
I just, I really am, and I know the board, we've heard these in many sessions in the past in the board policy meetings. We've talked about the superintendent and the board goals for this coming year. So this is not something that just came overnight. We are looking at goals that we as this board discuss and would like to see accomplished over time. It's nice that after 1 year of Dr. Amala's tenure here that we've been able to come up with these goals, because I think there's something that this school district is looking forward to try to implement over the future, depending on, quote, money and time and staff. We all know that we're not getting the kind of money we think we should get from the state, so we have to live within our means, and some of these may come early, and those that require a lot of money may come a little later. But I'm very much supportive of the superintendent's goals, and I know the board has heard these many times, and we're willing to work with her to see that these are accomplished, I hope, within those three criterion. And that's my statement for, I think the public should know that.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Do we have any other questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, Mrs. Madell.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Mrs. Hines?
Yes.
Mrs. Madison?
Yes.
I vote yes, and Mr. Buckaloo is excused.
Thank you. 6-0 vote. Agenda item 148.16. We have policy procedures and strategic planning that met this month, and Mrs. Hines is going to give us the report.
Good evening. A little short, so scoot this up a little bit. Okay, so the members that were present for our Strategic Planning and Policy Committee was Melody Hines, Sally Madison, Carol Medill, Dr. Michelle Harmala. We had community members. It was Tom Forage, Ron Madison, and notes were taken by Dr. Michelle Harmala, the superintendent. We had strategic planning proposals, and we had a Kay Cornell, an independent contractor who was present, with the approach that she would take the district through a strategic planning process. The approach she proposes includes to add HOT committee that would only meet for the purposes of completing the strategic plan. This committee would include approximately 50 stakeholders, 25 from within the Wayne Westland Community Schools and 25 student, parent, community members. 3 handouts are included that describe the proposals and associated costs. Nancy Karate, a consultant with the MSAB, presented the approach MSAB would use to assist the district through strategic planning. The approach includes a committee of approximately 40 stakeholders with the Wayne Westland Community Schools employees and community members. A cover letter proposal for database strategic planning for services and related PowerPoint presentations were attached. The committee would like to receive a proposal from the Michigan Leadership Institute, MLI. Superintendent Dr. Harmala will coordinate a presentation date and time with the MLI and the policy committee members. We are having some policy revisions. The committee recommends continuation of the policy review work by addressing the following policy sections in the noted order: 9,000 public and organizational relations, 5,000 personnel, 2,000 administration, and 1,000 Board of Governance and Operations. The committee recommends that the Finance Committee of the Board of Education review the 6,000 negotiation section. Superintendent Dr. Harmala will coordinate the next steps in the next committee meeting with dates with the respective committees and Attorney Kevin Sutton. Next meeting, the Policy Committee will schedule its next meeting prior to the end of October to continue to address the strategic planning and policy revisions. Superintendent Dr. Harmala will coordinate the dates and times with the committee members and presenters. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Hines. Any questions before we move on? Any thoughts? Very well. Thank you. Agenda item 149.16, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Harmel.
Good evening, and thank you, Vice President Weaver. I'd like to welcome all of our students back to school. We're looking forward to helping all of you learn and grow. Our last meeting was held prior to their start, so I know we're underway and everybody's excited about being here. We have a couple of exciting things going on this school year that I'd like to highlight. Our Champions of Wayne program is expanding and has begun this school year at John Glenn High School. We appreciate our community donors, in particular the Westland Foundation and Mr. Glenn Shaw, whose generosity makes the champions of John Glenn High School possible. This is a student mentoring program, and we hope it is as helpful to our students at John Glenn as it has been at Wayne Memorial High School, and we look forward to the growth of our students in this regard. Additionally, we received notice from the Michigan Department of Education that Stevenson Middle School is no longer a focus school. So congratulations to all of the staff and our staff here tonight from the Ed Services Department for their hard work and focus on our students' growth and learning, and I really applaud them. It is a rigorous task to go through all of the steps required by the state of Michigan, and they have done that with just a high level of success, and we appreciate them and the growth of our students. Additionally, last time I commented about the third grade reading bill that was proposed by our legislature, and I would like to talk a little bit about that. There were some changes made to the third grade reading bill as it was proposed in the House Committee, Education Committee, and those changes occurred because people sent in their comments, whether they were school people or parents or whoever it may have been. I'd like to remind people that this is exactly what the legislative process is designed to do. A bill is proposed and it's put out for comment. Those comments are then provided and the bill might be revised in substance or content in some way, and then it gets back into the committee's hands or the Senate or the House side and is reviewed again. Eventually it makes its way to a vote. We're a ways away from a vote yet with the reading bill, but the comments that were provided did result in some changes, and I'd just like to remind everybody that your voice matters. And sharing your thoughts does help to change things, although I know sometimes we may feel like it doesn't change enough. So I would appreciate anyone who, or would like to appreciate anybody who has shared comments, and thank you for doing that. Please continue to be involved in the legislative process. Your ideas can't be considered if they're not shared, and we appreciate your involvement. So thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Harmala. Agenda item 150.16, citizens' comments, 9 non-agenda items. Mrs. Medell.
I do not have any specific requests, and I'm not seeing any hands.
Thank you. Any hands? Anyone would wish to speak? Very well. Moving on to agenda item 151.16, review and recommendations, Board of Education. I'm going to ask Mrs. Medell to start us off tonight.
Well, I think Mrs. Ely gave most of my report. Because since she is the coordinator for the Head Start program, she gave you the numbers of students that we have enrolled and how many vacancies we have and where they occur, and in front of you is the financial report. Again, I cannot recommend that program enough to people. They offer a quality program, and as she says, we're number one in the county when it comes to quality. And we need to make sure that we get the word out to everybody. I have to apologize. I am one of those who runs around from school to school on open house day, but I've had some family issues that I've had to deal with. But they are over with, so tomorrow I will be hitting the bricks back. I think coffee with the principal at Franklin is tomorrow morning, and Marshall's got a Title I meeting happening twice, either 10 o'clock or 4 o'clock. And we have some other PTA, PTO things that are going on. I want to encourage our parents to participate, come in to the schools and be part of these parent-teacher organizations. They are an integral part, and they make things happen in the buildings for the students. I'm glad we had a safe and very good opening of our school year this year, and we are coming up to homecoming for both of our high schools. They will be coming up. Great football, great parades, a lot of excitement in the air. Come out and join. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Medell. Mrs. Madison.
I have no comment this evening other than welcome back to school, and keep watching your calendars for all of the events and functions.
Thank you. Mrs. Walker.
Thank you. I just want to say welcome back to our families, and I just hope that we all have a safe and productive year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Mrs. Hines.
I'd like to say welcome back to the school year. I'm excited for a new year. I'm really excited about the champions program going to John Glenn. That is super. I am praying that we get an upper bound program over at John Glenn because you want to have both the schools equal the same thing. And those type of programs increase student achievement and help, our ACT score. So we're doing a lot of positive things in community. I'm excited about that. Tomorrow they have the State of the City over in Westland, so we'll be attending that. And as Ms. Medell said, with the homecoming, I am proud to announce that I will be cheering at the Wayne Memorial Homecoming game as alumni cheerleader, so come support. I'm really excited to be young again, to be with our students and go and cheer. Hopefully I won't hurt myself, but come out. So it should be a lot of fun. And there's another program that I am really excited about and I am fired up. It's Bright Futures. They have this weekend, we're supposed to be going to Eastern Michigan University. The kids are going to have a tour of the campus. They're going to let us run through the tunnel and just really be involved in the game. And I think that is so important. Like earlier when we were at Marshall, they took the kids to Wayne State. When these children see at an early age how exciting college can be, it gets them all geared up to get these good grades. And those are really awesome programs. So, and with our report from Dr. Howland about their strategic plans and goals, we are doing fabulous things in this district.
Thank you, Mrs. Hines. Mr. Griffin.
Well, I'm not an alumni of Wayne Memorial John Glenn, but I had 3 boys graduate from John Glenn, so I'm going to be at the homecoming with my partner Jan, and I'm excited about this being the second year of Dr. Hamala's administration here, and moving into many substantive things, and having a year to get to know everybody and this board as well as the community. And I'd like to say welcome back to the students this year and to the community. I think we are having good things happen in this district, and it's only going to get better in my opinion. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. I just want to say that our president could not be with us tonight. I'd like to thank the board members for your courtesy to me, and appreciate how we conduct ourselves up here when we do business. And that concludes my comments for tonight. So we go to agenda item 152.16, adjournment. All in favor, would you say aye?
Aye.
And we are closed for business.
Want to do a motion?
Yeah.
I think you need a motion.